MMAweekly.com, Damon Martin here with Ben Henderson. Ben, first off, congratulations on a phenomenal win. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure on Jim Miller in this fight, and you seemed really loose and light the whole week. I mean, was that kind of your attitude going into this fight?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent it played in my favor, not having any of the onus on me. I was, like I talked about earlier, me being in his shoes as far as the winner gets a title shot and blah blah. That's a lot of pressure. Not to say that Jim Miller can't take the pressure. Not saying I folded underneath the pressure in my fight against Pettis. The winner of that fight was supposed to get the next title shot for the UFC. I'm not saying I folded under pressure like that, but it is a little bit of relief not having that on your shoulders, and you can go out there and just do your thing, not worry about, oh man, I gotta make sure I win because you tighten up a little bit. But it is what it is. You definitely something you have to adjust to and be able to overcome.
Cardio is king, and he went for a lot of submissions early in the fight, and Jim's shown to have good cardio, but you have maybe some of the best cardio in the sport. How much do you think that played a factor in the fight?
Jared Akee. Jared Akee is the secret sauce at the MMA lab. He has all of us fighters in tip-top condition, tip-top shape. So I can go 27 minutes, I can go 32 minutes at 100 miles an hour. A lot of guys say, oh yeah, you want to go 100 miles an hour, let's do that for 15 minutes straight. It's a little bit harder said, it's easier said than to actually do. And I really can go 100 miles an hour for 15 straight minutes. I can go 100 miles an hour for 25 straight minutes. The secret is, Jared Akee.
Obviously, before this fight, actually before you even got to the UFC, Jim had been kind of vocal about the WC guys getting title shots, and I mean, was that in the back of your head a little bit? I mean, just as a proving point to kind of put an exclamation point on a fight like this?
No, to be honest, no, it was not. I do remember Jim saying that. I do remember the interview in which case he said the WC guys might be a little bit, overly highly rated or something like that along those lines. And it's free, it's fine. It's a free country. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Jim's entitled to his opinion, the same as I'm entitled to my opinion. I will almost never begrudge somebody their opinion. It doesn't make very much sense to me. I can disagree with you. You can disagree with me, but I'm not going to begrudge you your own opinion. So it's fine. It's what he thought. It's what a lot of guys thought. It was a popular opinion among reporters, among fans, among fighters. I think it worked out a little bit differently, though.
You're a young man who's very, very strong in your faith. You speak out about that a lot. Tonight, you showed a very selfless move. You had the microphone. A lot of guys would say, please, Dana, give me the title shot. Give me this guy. Give me that guy. You didn't say anything about Ben Henderson. You said it about your teammates. I got to imagine that rolled back a little bit into your faith as far as being selfless.
I'll say a little bit. I think maybe just kind of like the guy I am. But like I said, these guys are my brothers. They bleed with me. We sweat together. We bleed together each and every day. They kick the crap out of me. They choke me out. We saw some submissions, hard to submit, blah blah. That guy right there, Chris Grissmacher, he submits me in practice all the time. Let's get him in the big show. Chris Grissmacher, Efrain Escudero, Charlie Brown, Yatsine Meza, Victor Mazer. I got some hard-hitting, hungry killers at my gym who don't care who you are and will beat the crap out of you if you don't bring your A game. I'm ready for them to get their shot. I've been in the limelight, shining, under the cameras, on the lights, doing very well. I see how hard they struggle. I was there myself, a couple years ago. It's a hard life to do as a fighter, as a young fighter. I'm just ready for my brothers to get their shot.
Last question. You're not a guy who sits there and plays matchmaker. You're going to let Dana and Joe Silva do that.
Yes.
But, obviously, Jim was right there for a title shot. A lot of people on Twitter tonight were like, what about Bindo and Clay Guida? That was a popular choice. I mean, what kind of matchups do you look forward to next?
I'm not sure. I think who's ever next up the line, who's ever next on the ladder. I just realized sitting next to Cowboy, Jackson's has some tough 55 counters. Because they have Guida, they have Gallard, and they have Cowboy. I didn't even realize. I just put it in my head just now because I'm a slow thinker. But they have three of the top guys all at their gym. But whoever, I don't really care. Like I said, I'm not the matchmaker. I just want the next guy. Who's ever in line, whoever Sean Shelby, whoever Joe Silva, whoever Dana White, whoever they say, whoever they think. Let's do that.
Thanks again, Ben.
No, thank you, man.